Forgot one thing
Yeah.
there. Forgot to do that. Ha ha ha. Aha. Wouldn't be right if I didn't have my Star Wars glass. But
I don't. I have a Yeti glass. Or cup.
I think all these glasses I got, mind you, they were gifts from Tony and Kay, I think, and but let's just say they're from a certain Star Wars movie that maybe you don't care for.
Oh, that one.
Like, what did I tell you? Never speak of it again. Yeah, but they're still kind of cool glasses.
Yeah, you're right there.
I don't know. I heard something. Yeah. Yeah. Well, yeah. What do you? Yeah. What do you think?
Yeah, let's do it.
Oh, are you looking at notes or anything?
Yeah, that was.
You know what? It doesn't even. At this point, just I think it works out perfect. Just we both just interject one another when we have more to add. Simple as that. Unless there's something really important that you need to put in the notes. I mean, you can put whatever you want in there if you think of it. But it's the only problem, like doing this a day after. I mean, it works out better for me because then I don't have to do everything in one day. But you do lose a little bit of it that from the day before. Like when I had just watched it last week, right before we won, it was all real fresh. But
real nice and fresh.
Real fresh.
So fresh and so clean.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Well, okay. I suppose we should get started. What do you think? All right.
I think.
Let's do it.
Then do it.
In 3. I'm trying to remember how this works again. 3, 2, 1. Hello, welcome back to Disnerds Plus, where we talk about your favorite nerdy shows on Disney Plus, the streaming service provided by Disney, in case you weren't already aware. This is episode 45 for Thursday, September 7th, 2023. Today we're talking about Ahsoka number 4, Fallen Jedi. I'm Shane.
Oh, hey Shane, I'm Mike.
Hey dude, what's happening?
Not much. As you can see, I'm at a different location tonight.
I see that. I do see that. You know what the most
a little
obvious
house
thing
sitting.
is? The most obvious thing is we don't see your beautiful collection of, almost said bobbleheads.
They are kind of like bobbleheads. Some of them are.
Yeah, they definitely look like it. Funko Pops. Which, not to be, I didn't realize for the longest time that Funko made more than that. Because, I think, here's a Mad Max, I believe this was a Funko toy right here.
Oh, yeah, they got little ones, big ones, it's just everywhere.
Tiny little guy there. I'm pretty sure that was Funko LLC.
You got a Yoda
LLC.
back there, too?
Is it still an LLC? 2017. It's probably not still an LLC, right?
Oh
yeah, here's the box for it. It still says Funko on it. Funko. Yeah, but I suppose we got to do a show here. We're doing a show. Forgot about that. All right. Yeah, I'm really with it today. You can tell, right? All right.
I'm probably going to bed early tonight. I'm wiped. I need a full night's sleep.
Fair enough. Well, all right, let's not waste any time then. Previously on Ahsoka. So in that last episode, we got to see Sabine actually doing some training with probably some of the coolest Jedi training I've ever seen with Huyang and Ahsoka ultimately sparring with her. We saw Hera attempting to send a fleet or get approval for a fleet to go offer assistance on Seatos with Mon Mothma, and then Kazuda Ziono's. Wow, I can't believe I pulled that off. I can't think of simple names, and that one came out of my ass right there. His dad, as you pointed out, from the Resistance series. Finally got to see Jason Syndulla in live action form. Also, the I guess spawn of Hera and Kanan. Is the green hair supposed to is that his natural hair color? Is that part of the deal?
I think that just comes from Hera, I guess.
Right. That's what I kind of was wondering, but yeah, because we don't we don't hear a lot about interspecies mingling.
Apparently with
too
them,
much.
it just comes up full human, just green hair.
Maybe Jason's got a. Maybe there was what did they say it in the Force with Anakin?
Maybe he's got a tail.
A virgins in the Force.
Oh, there you go.
I don't. And of course we talked about how Jason was also the name previously. Jacen was also the original in the books name for one of the twins between Han and Leia. We saw Sabine trying to use the Force to move a cup after Ahsoka did it very easily. They also came across that Eye of Sion that that Morgan has been putting together. And we saw their ship get temporarily disabled by Shin and Marok, and then some other so it was probably Shin and Marok that were the ones that probably actually did it, because the other ones got wiped out pretty swiftly. And then there was a pretty neat lightsaber. I don't know if you call it a battle, but it's kind of like a
lightsabers in space.
Yes, Ahsoka jumping with her badass suit, bouncing around on the ship and just taking out the ships as they pass by. It's pretty neat.
Though I feel like if she would have flipped out like that, she would have kind of floated away. Like the second time when she blew, explosions or something happened.
She did on one of those times.
Yeah, but the first time I think she should have still technically.
Well, if she uses the Force, I mean, she probably has some Force capabilities in space, I guess. Yeah, because obviously those magnetic boots aren't that magnetic.
True.
Yeah, probably not. But the worst atrocities have happened in Star Wars with physics. Let's just say that. Finally got to see the Purrgil in quote unquote live action. At least realistic CGI.
Purrgil.
And then they wound up on this well, I guess it is the
Seatos.
The Red Forest on Seatos, yeah. And learned a little bit more about the Eye of Sion. And yeah. Baylan and the HK assassin droids start tracking them down.
No.
So
dun dun dun.
That was episode 3. That brings us to episode 4, where we start off back on the ship, where Sabine is trying to make contact with Hera, and Ahsoka makes a point in there about how yeah, if basically that they might get to, start up this machine uh, before they have a chance to uh, before they have a chance to go and basically figured, yeah, if they can't get Ezra, no one should. Uh, and you could tell Sabine was not, even though she was agreeing, she was doing it very reluctantly.
She's not fully agreeing to it at all. Well, yeah, basically,
Yeah.
agreeing to it.
It's like a kid telling their mom that they're not going to do something again or whatever. Like,
don't tell me what to do, Mom.
But then we do see in the distance some enemy at this point surrounding around the ship, in the woods around them. And so I didn't know what to call this thing until later in the episode. It finally had a name, which is kind of perfect for me. The henge, which is
that does work out.
like Stonehenge, of course, being also a henge. But this, of course, being the area that they plug the map into, and we see the big 3D holographic deal around them. But that is where Baylan is telling. Yeah, I forgot to put the name in
Shen?
here. Shin. Yep.
Shen?
Yeah, I got it down. I got it later on when they say the name again. To go after the Jedi, and then back on the ship. So we see Sabine is back in her armor, her Mando armor.
Mandalorian.
And I didn't actually cut. I know she was like digging through a backpack or something here to find something that Ahsoka very quickly finds. But what was that?
It was a cartridge for her one of her blasters.
It was
like
a vape
power cartridge. Yeah, that's what it was. And I think she's just anxious because a few things are going on with her.
Yep. And then Ahsoka has to give more talk to her about, just basically letting go of the idea of finding Ezra. And we see then outside the ship, Huyang is making progress on fixing whatever on the side of the ship.
Motivator. The motivator, we'll just call it. They like to use motivators a lot, so it's a motivator.
Sure. They need motivation.
Yeah, so it's a motivator. Motivator.
What? Just reminds me of Matt Foley from SNL. Like, I'm here to be here. They fix it. Oh, pops out. What you kids need is some motivation. Yeah, but then he very quickly gets attacked by this. Yeah, these were droids. Yeah, of course.
Yeah, those were HK.
Those were the HK droids. Yeah, and then proceeds to have the most. You know what? I didn't think about it at the time, but it was basically that movie, that Shadow Boxer movie with Hugh Jackman, whatever that was called. They just they're basically like Rock'em Sock'em robots here.
Oh, you're talking about you're talking about the robot movie.
Yeah.
Real Steel. That's what it's called. Real Steel.
Real Steel. That's right. Of course it is. That is so much a better movie title than Shadow Boxer. That's what they got to do with movies. AP Dubs in the house. Your droids, Steel Dukes, put them up. So they really start boxing like I've never seen two droids. Like, and I mean boxing. They were just like punching the hell out of each other.
Huyang had also his backup arms, I guess, in the back. I don't know what to call them.
Oh yeah. It was cool. It's like, damn, Huyang, going to town on that.
Huyang's I think my favorite character right now.
Yeah, that says a lot too. So we hear him like call for help, and then he's quickly shuddered. Because he gets knocked into the same circuitry he was just working on the outside of the ship, and so then Hera and or not Hera, Sabine and Ahsoka, look, obviously notice the power's gone back out or the lights go out on the ship. And Sabine's quick to blame Huyang, but they go rushing out and proceed to take out their HK droids, and after that, I think it's Ahsoka says that they need to prioritize the transmitter specifically. Obviously, getting the signal out to Hera is the most important part. So he goes and does that. But then not before Huyang makes the request that the two stay together and that they were always better that way. And then they go ahead and run off into the woods, never to be seen again.
Into the woods they go.
Let's see, what else is AP Dub saying in here? Son of a gun, how dare you? Why you gotta be a deck? You must think you're some... Are you drunk? Oh, it's an inside joke from her. Oh, I see. He was talking about his deck. Literal, yeah. So then we see this is back on Home 1, which is a space station?
Mon Calamari space or ship.
Oh, it's a ship. Yeah, okay. So we see this Hawkins fellow, not to be confused with, I don't know why I'm thinking, it just makes me think of Porkins. But he's trying to stop Hera from, because she's ready to go. She's just going to take off without having permission or authorization. And he makes a very half-hearted effort. And she's just basically, try to stop me. He's like, without authorization? Nope. And just,
she's a rebel.
Yeah, true rebel. And he gets on the ship with Jason, no less. And Jason's like, how come I have to do what I'm told and you don't? And she says, well, when you're a general, basically then we'll talk. But we also see Carson Teva up there with her as one of the, 5 or 6 of them.
Yeah, Carson Teva.
Yeah, he's back. I always have to say the guy from Kim's Convenience, which I never did see, but supposedly a pretty good show. Also, huge fan. I don't know if we talked about this before. Huge fan of Star Wars to the point where he actually already had like a full suit, and he might even be what he uses in the show.
I think he. I know. I thought I heard he wore his stuff the first season, Mando. So I think it is. I think it's his stuff. Why not? If it's already like they prove it, right?
Yeah.
Maybe they update it a little bit because maybe his helmet has the right Republic symbol now. So just update it for him.
Yeah, unless it was a stormtrooper outfit or something. I think it was a rebel thing though, but obviously he's a huge Star Wars fan, which is great, and I think Filoni
and they like him because he keep on bringing him back. So
yep, what a cool man that guy. I mean, there's so many people in Star Wars that are just like have to be super excited to be in this world now, but yeah. So let's see so they take the hyper. We see that Jason ends up, after Hera gives the command, he's the one to pull the hyperdrive lever. And then back on the ship. Oh, this is let's see. This is actually, let's see. There were, oh yeah.
That was henge.
That was the henge for sure. There was discussions with Baylan and Morgan about activating the or Baylan's concerned, like he says that they should, if they don't have the precise calculations, basically they could be lost to the void. Which I don't know if that means like a black hole or.
It's like the area between galaxies.
Yeah. So he's a little bit leery, but Morgan. And I think maybe this is the point where Morgan's like asks about that she senses fear in him, basically.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because of that.
He just says it's experience or whatever. And she goes ahead and activates the map once more on its little pedestal. Then we get a scene with Ahsoka and Sabine running through the woods, those redwoods. Not redwoods, but
like redwoods.
Not big trees. Think more like red maples. And they come across both Marok and Shin at that time. And I think it's Shin that removes her cloak this time. Or no, or is it Ahsoka that removes? Yeah.
No, it's Shin.
Okay.
Ahsoka does not remove her cloak in the woods at all.
Yeah, I think later maybe. Sorry, cloak removal later. Okay. There's a lot of cloak removal.
Just Shin.
So Sabine goes. They kind of split off. Sabine goes after Shin and because that made sense, I guess. After she just stabbed you through the gut, let's try this again.
Well, she has her Beskar armor on now. So.
Yeah, fair. Yeah, true. I did think about that too. So Ahsoka goes after Marok. And then we see the Eye of Sion continuing to kind of power up or activate or whatever. And the fighting. Activate power. She needs to get her butt to the Force kids that killed their daddy's planet and bring balance to the Force. Yeah, that's basically every Star Wars ever. Ahsoka needs to bail on all this. In the Outer Rim. Sure. Are you up to date with this show, AP Dubs, or are you just
He's spitting?
I don't think he is. I don't think he's watching it. But he did watch Rebels a lot, I know. I believe so. So the fighting continues. Ahsoka doesn't take Ahsoka too long. Sometimes it's crazy how fast, like, I can only imagine. It's kind of like trying to do stop motion or something where, like, you put all this time and choreography into a single fight scene, and, like, you think it's going to be longer. And then this particular scene reminds me of, like, what they did in Rebels with, well, this could be a spoiler, I suppose, with, let's just say, with Obi-Wan and Darth Maul, round 2. Just seems to go very quickly. But she ends up slicing through, just through like one swing at each other, and she slices right through the armor of Marok, and we see this green mist and a familiar sound kind of hiss out of it. I know that you're going to correct me on this.
It's some Night Sister witchery.
Yes. So, right, exactly. Witchery
is, maybe we'll find out eventually who was possessed in that whole thing.
Yeah, because it certainly reminded me of that.
Definitely gave some vibes of Clone Wars and Rebels.
Did they ever, like, could it have just been Morgan, like, kind of possessing the armor kind of a thing?
No.
You think it's a specific witch? Because I was suggesting that
been Morgan. It could have been Morgan that put the spell, but I mean, she doesn't really control him after that. It's kind of controls him. I don't know how it all works, but
right. So
is it implied that it was a spell that brought him back to life? That's all.
Yeah. So this could have been the green mist suggests, though, that we're not done with whatever that was, probably, right?
Maybe, or that's just the releasing the enchantment out of there, and then thing that whatever it is left dies.
Something tells me that's not going to be the last we've seen of whatever that was, but
we will have to wait and see because there's still 4 more episodes.
True. Halfway there though.
Yeah.
I would bet though. This seemed a little too fast, but we'll see. And it is kind of it's kind of cool, but also kind of a disappointment. Like everyone's like, "Oh, who is it?" Well, turned out to be something I don't think any of us thought of.
Maybe it's just an Inquisitor that just was resurrected and still sucked at being an Inquisitor.
Right. So Sabine then tells, Sabine tells Ahsoka to get the map as she's still fighting Shin.
And they split up.
Yep. Because she's got her. I got her.
Huyang said, "Do not do that."
Oh yeah, that's true. I didn't even think about that. You had one job. Yeah, I didn't even think about it. The first thing they did was split. Like they went 2 different paths already, even. So then back at the henge, Morgan's telling Baylan to protect the map as she prepares the Eye of Sion. And then out pops Ahsoka. Shows up, and I think this is where she throws off her cloak.
Well, her and Baylan do it because Baylan gets up because he's just sitting there, and then he takes his cloak off as well.
Yep.
They were both cloaked, and then they decloaked.
Right. And then was it cape? Cloak, cape.
I'd say it's a cloak.
Okay. I thought maybe one of those had a hood to it. Oh wait, or do they have hoods too?
They both do.
Yeah, I guess that is. There's another name too, like not a tunic, but anyway. Maybe it is just cloak. Yeah,
pretty close.
Because I went as Obi-Wan the one year, and I remember this terminology being thrown around too. So then Baylan starts talking about her former master, of course, Anakin, and lots of different things about how he failed her and what have you. And he ends up saying how I think they were talking about why she left the Jedi Order, how he thinks it was because of Anakin, when in reality it wasn't.
Well, also he thinks that she's as dangerous as Anakin.
Oh yeah. And then he says the only reason he's there is to protect the future. And seems backwards. Yeah, I couldn't help but be reminded of like Thanos talk here, as it was like he's talking about how like a war needs to happen in order to like bring balance or what have you. But
we must bring balance to the Force.
Yes, classic Star Wars. Oh yeah, one must destroy to create. Totally gave me Thanos vibes there. But they then they start kind of fighting a little bit slowly there. Like it's more of a classic Obi-Wan Darth Vader fight. A little bit starts off with that, which is maybe kind of nice after all the constant fast-paced battles. But we then see Morgan is up there on the Eye of Sion, waiting for the final coordinates to come in, to be calculated, however this is working. I don't know if they really like go into how that's working. Like it's happening through the map somehow down below.
It's all connected somehow to a computer, and it's decrypting it, I would say.
Right.
I had to guess.
Maybe it's just like, is it like an encryption thing? Is it like or is it like I don't know. Like the map is so vast and sophisticated that it's just that many numbers or something. I don't know.
No idea. It's weird.
Yeah. But so then we see the fighting between Baylan and Ahsoka continues down at the henge, and Ahsoka's trying to get the map unsuccessfully. And
Get the map.
And then the Sabine fight back in the woods is continuing on with Shin. We do see it's kind of a like here's another foreshadowing moment when you just see the empty helmet in the foreground. Also, like they didn't focus on that for no reason.
True.
I'm willing to bet. But then so Sabine gets knocked down, and then she holds her hand up like she's trying to use the Force. At least that's what we're meant to believe, because that was kind of
well, at the beginning. You kind of heard that the Force noise when she first did that, so it's like, wait a minute, did she have a little bit come out?
Wait, when was that? At the
when she first went like this, you heard a, and then it stopped. It was like almost like because you notice when they use the Force, they have that. There's like I don't know how to. It's a little bit bassy sound.
Sure. Yeah. Absolutely.
And she had that for a brief second.
I missed it. It was a little toot came out. So but she does hold her hand up like that, and maybe she's learning it a little bit there, but unsuccessfully. But either way, Shin like fires back, saying like you're weak, or you
have no power.
You have no power, yeah. But just kidding, tricks her and shoots out a like blaster beam or something out of her.
Basically, like a little like dart that shot off, that knocked her lightsaber out of Shin's lightsaber out of her hand.
And Shin was very, very quick with her lightsaber to deflect it, but also caught her off guard. And then the Ahsoka fight with Baylan continues back at the henge, and she knocks him down, and finally does grab the map, but apparently it's like the hottest freaking thing on the planet, because I've never seen Ahsoka like in so much pain. She was like made that thing seem like it was just boiling.
Probably was. I mean,
yep.
It was sitting under a fire, technically.
I bet we'll see. I bet we will
Green
see.
Fire.
Her hand later on is gonna look like Harry from Home Alone or something with the M.
It's gonna be
doorknob.
the key to get. It's gonna be the key.
Oh
to
my
get
God!
To,
we just figured it. Yeah. Did you just think of that?
No.
Oh.
But
I wonder if there's something to that. Like I don't know if it's the whole map, but maybe
the right piece of the map.
she can just put her hand back on the pedestal and it works.
Yeah.
You might be onto something.
Right there.
Yeah, we'll have to call back to this if you got that right. So she's only able to hold on to it for so long, and has to drop it. But back in the woods, it doesn't take Shin too long before has what I call the ninja vanish. Which we have a friend when we used to work together, I always used to say that because he'd be like talking 1 second and all of a sudden he'd be gone. And I'd be like, I always say he ninja vanished. That's a Ninja Turtles 2 reference.
Nice.
So yeah, she uses like a smoke bomb type of thing. Yeah. And she's then on her way back to the henge where Ahsoka, she shows up right away, and Ahsoka pretty quickly is able to force push her into one of those stones. And I thought she probably knocked her out there, but so then Sabine shows up and Ahsoka's like, destroy it. Destroy the map, and she just this is a little bit comical actually, that she's just holding a gun to it like it's a hostage. In hindsight, like it's a little silly, but
I'll kill it.
I'm gonna kill the map. Don't make me do it. And so she holds back, and she doesn't do it right away, but Doesn't take Ahsoka long to get knocked over the edge of this cliff. And
No.
yes, and then there's kind of a oh yeah, because there was like back and forth like Sabine, Ahsoka, because I think wasn't there a part
Well,
where
no, because Ahsoka was like gonna basically like shoot the thing, and then and he's trying to reason with Baylan. And Baylan just knocks Ahsoka down over the edge, and he's like, "Nah, how about?" He starts reading her mind. You can tell because he's like doing his whole Force thing, and then he just talks about Ezra and
mm-hmm,
how he's wants to get back Ezra back and stuff.
right? Yeah, but there was a moment. I thought there was a moment where where Ahsoka thought Sabine got it or something too, before this, and then it seemed like it was a lot of back and forth of like, who does who think has been is done for? Like
Oh,
I thought there was a moment where Ahsoka thought
well, yeah, Sabine, or yeah, Ahsoka thought Sabine was dead because Shin came back.
oh right. Yeah, because she yells Sabine there, and then Ahsoka goes over, and then Sabine yells Ahsoka. So it was a lot of like back and forth that way. But what was that? It got cut off a little bit there.
Ma'am, ma'am,
Ma.
ma'am.
So Baylan, yeah, as you mentioned, tries to. Well, starts talking to her because he knows she's not going to do it. Because he knows that how much she wants to get Ezra, but he knows this and keeps walking toward her and basically knows she's not going to shoot it. And so he gives her a word that she can basically come with him if she gives him the map. And there's like that was such a I felt like it was such a back and forth in my head. I'm like, what's she gonna do? Is she gonna shoot it? Like I was thinking, like at the last second, she's gonna shoot the map. I was so sure it was just gonna happen.
Nope, she didn't.
But I mean that was actually a great like acted scene because you could just sense the conflict in her head. Like she was just really like battling with it. But yeah, she does very, very, very slowly hand the map back over to Baylan. And initially you're like, oh god, she gets force choked right away. You're like, oh
Mhm.
man, they're gonna now
I
he's
thought it
gonna
was
back.
Baylan, and I'm like, oh, what?
But then the camera,
Nope.
of course, pans out and we see it is Shin back up, force choking her, and Baylan immediately tells her to release her, but I think she hesitated a little bit before she did. And
Yeah. Shin don't like Sabine.
and then he says, unlike your former master, he'll keep his word, which so I guess I have like a little bit of respect for him because of that, but at the same time I'm like maybe they just want to like convert her basically, ultimately is part of the goal
Maybe.
to the dark side. Of course, I shouldn't say necessarily because I think I've thought for a while here that um Baylan almost feels more like Bendu or something like more in the middle, or maybe
Yeah.
slightly
I feel like Ahsoka would be more in the middle. 'Cause she's like, just her lightsabers are white. I mean, that's got to mean something, right?
right. Well, maybe
Like
it's
they try
like
to make the colors mean something in their personalities.
maybe she's lawful good or whatever was it
She's pure of
neutral,
she's pure of heart.
and he's like neutral evil or whatever whatever that chart is with the different forms of good, evil, lawful, and
Still,
chaotic.
it's still a good versus evil type of setting.
Right. Yeah,
White
I think
versus red.
this makes him a really interesting character though for this reason that he's not so far pure evil, which I guess you kind of got a little bit with
He's not really.
Kylo.
He's not Sith. He's
Right.
like he's kind of balanced, but he leans a little more to the dark side, I think.
Right. It would be interesting if we saw that Bendu tree man in
That'd be
this.
cool.
But yeah, so he does keep his word, and they bring her on the ship and onto the Eye of Sion.
The Eye of Sion. I don't know why
Yep.
I'm trying to make that sound like the Circle of Life.
It's the Eye of Sion. And then the map gets well, I guess the map gets reactivated before they leave, but then back on the ship on the planet on Seatos, Hera finally gets a hold of Huyang, just in time to tell them that they're already there. And Baylan goes and right after they get the final coordinates and everything, he just takes a lightsaber straight to that map. And
that's probably the best efficient way to do it.
yeah, takes it out. Although, it's a little part of me, the fact how hot that thing was, I kind of got the impression like a lightsaber maybe wouldn't even be able to take it out with the amount of energy
it took a while for it
to.
it took a while for it to break. So
Yeah. Yeah, that was a cool effect. And then, like I mentioned, they take Sabine up to the Eye of Sion, and Morgan goes ahead and gives the order to engage the hyperdrive. And this is right after Hera and her fleet just show up and are pretty quickly see this hyperdrive ring. And
would you call it a fleet or a squadron? I feel like it would be a squadron.
I mean, I was
instead
wondering
of a
about
fleet.
that. I don't know what the
Fleet's
exact.
kind of big. I feel like.
I don't know what the exact. Yeah, I did think about that, but I didn't think
Because a
about it.
fleet is like considering like the bigger ships, and a squadron's like the smaller ships.
I mean, probably.
One-man ships.
I just feel like when I hear
Or
squadron, I feel like there's more than one or something. But yeah, probably a squadron, sure. But I also went back to StarCraft, where the guy's like, "Who called in the fleet?" Which is like I don't think it's a huge group of ships necessarily, but anyway. So yeah, they get there just in time to get destroyed, basically. They
yeah.
Oh yeah, I mentioned StarCraft. No, AP Dubs is freaking out. He's
StarCraft.
Ooh. So yeah, that thing shoots off in hyperspace, and the ships either one of them or a couple of them don't. They
collide. I think two of them collide at least.
And the other ones just go flying and
broke apart basically from the force of that, not literal force, but the force of the hyperdrive jumping.
Yep. So that wasn't good.
Hera made it though, and Carson did. I don't know what the other pilot who that made it, but
yeah, it would be Ensign Redshirt. But then we get a line from Jason, "Mom, I've got a bad feeling." Although it was like,
oh yeah,
not a bad feeling about it. They couldn't like finish it, but
I think that's implying that he's force sensitive.
Oh, for sure. Oh yeah, very true.
Since his dad was, Kanan.
Yes. And
Jarrus, by the way, if you want to know last name.
That's right. Freddie Prinze Jr. is all I remember. That's all I can remember.
Yeah, basically.
But he I'm sorry. It was interesting because they in Rogue One, the Alan Tudyk droid that I can never get the right order right.
K2SO.
2SO. He like gets cut off when he was saying the line, and that's kind of what happens here. But I think Jason actually uses more of the line than he even did in this line in this part.
Kind
But
of got
I got a
got
bad
he got
feeling.
stopped.
That's for true. So then, back on the ship, Huyang's trying to trying to reach them about their car's extended warranty, uh,
As you do.
and then of course unsuccessfully. But we do see uh, panning from the henge down to the sea, and
Down to the river.
slowly transitioning into. I was thrown off at first because
Stars.
it was a yeah stars, I guess, and then a much bigger face of Ahsoka. It's like what's happening here?
Like, whoa.
And she wakes up in what I had to look up
The
to
world between
remember.
worlds.
Yes. The world between worlds, which was
Which I had a feeling we were gonna see it in live action. I was like, ooh. I mean, that's
yeah,
cool.
and I didn't even put together that both. I feel like both the map and the end credits sequence were very much referential to this. I think
Like
because
a Seatos is some kind of doorway into it.
yeah, even though it's
I mean,
mostly
we did see it in Rebels.
mm-hmm,
So,
and it's mostly darkness, but it's also got these intricate circular or spherical patterns surrounding uh yeah, which is repeated throughout this series so
this
far.
was this is probably my favorite like scene though in this episode because
Oh,
you hear hey Snips. I'm like, what?
yep. I kind of thought this was coming.
I was like, Snips. He said Snips.
He said
Oh my god.
snips. Yeah, so as soon as I heard snips, I'm like, oh, here comes Hayden. And sure
He
enough,
did look a little funny as young Anakin. Like the face like was glowing for some reason. I was like, why is it
yeah,
glowing?
I don't
Ish.
think it looked as good as what they did with Obi-Wan.
No, but hey, whatever. Maybe it was lighting too. Could have been weird, and that kind of trying to make it work. Who knows? It still wasn't. I mean, whatever. At the end of the day, these are people trying to make this look like real life. It's hard.
Yeah. Yes, but I think if they were to just embrace deep fake technology more so, maybe uh, it might
Yeah.
look a little better. But
But
yeah.
he was in his technically like Clone War era Jedi robes or what you want to call them.
Oh, right. Yeah. So, well, I suppose. Yeah, I didn't even think about it because his hair was. This would have been like at the beginning of the. It's probably when
Should
they
have been
first. So when he first took Ahsoka on,
yeah, yep.
that makes
Basically,
sense.
it
And
was interesting though that the Darth Vader theme plays at the end though. Like, what's that about?
yeah, we should say that.
Oh, now, now, though the world between worlds, technically, they're they're like bold. Like that's actually young Anakin. He got somehow found a way into world between worlds because remember, it's a point in space or time and space where you can everything's just linear. Like you can just literally go in there and go back 20 years if you find the right spot.
And
So like, what if that's Anakin, real Anakin, but just found this random thing? Like maybe researching something or found something and got stuck in here for the moment with older Ahsoka and thinks he's like, maybe he's like thinking he's dead and she thinks she's dead, but they're really not because
interesting.
they're in the world between
Maybe
worlds.
they help save each other or something.
But she can't. But if it's younger Anakin, it's like she can't tell him what happened, and because she can't change those points
Right.
in the timeline now.
So
It gets crazy. It's
I should
crazy. It's a mind melt.
Mind meld. We should say that, yeah, at first it's the voice, I mean, you can tell it's him right away, but you're not meant to know because it says in the subtitles,
Oh yeah,
like mysterious
it's
voice or whatever.
you have to like have subtitles on just to hear it because I had to like rewind it. And I didn't have my subtitles on. Turn back on. I'm like, dead.
I actually heard it the
Steps.
first time, but
Yeah,
my
I
volume, I
missed
guess, was
it.
up fair high enough. But yeah, so she gets up,
Glam.
turns, and I think she says master before she even turns around, right? And then that's when we see after she gets up and there he is standing there.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
We should say
Next week's episode's gonna be. I can't even imagine what's gonna happen.
Yeah.
It's gonna be nuts.
I should say that was it Ezra though that was it her or Ezra that we first see in the world between worlds?
It was her and Ezra that first,
Oh,
because
they
Ezra's first
both.
one that found it, and then Ezra's pulled Ahsoka through where she was fighting Darth Vader in the second season of Rebels at the end, and then now, yeah, now it's
So she's
her
some
and Anakin.
yeah. For some reason, I guess I mean I remember
She's
now,
like
but
she's like for some reason that place likes her lets her in. Like she must be really like good. That must be like a good place to be.
yeah. I
Some
mean,
I
I was
don't
gonna
know.
say I thought, but for some reason I forgotten at the time that she had been there before, but
Or it could be something to do with her little bird friend that follows her around, and basically the was it the father's daughter life
yeah.
essence was transferred over to her when they were all in that debacle,
Well,
the Mortis gods.
now that you bring that up, was it an owl? Was it a eagle?
I think it was like more like an owl.
Yeah. So has was there any Easter eggs with that in this series yet? Because we got it in
I didn't.
Mandalorian.
I haven't seen it, but I mean, it could be we missed it and just didn't look right.
Right.
But I haven't seen it yet, to be honest.
Yeah. Fair enough. Well, I know you watched the new rock stars and all that. I'm not sure if they saw anything. Um, the owl was in the book too, says AP Dubs. Gotcha. So yeah, good stuff. I guess she still seemed like she was kind of surprised to be here, but maybe it's probably been a bunch of times since she would have last been here at least.
Since her and Ezra,
She was mostly
probably
surprised to hear Anakin's voice
Anakin.
after, yeah.
I think she knew where she was at, but she's like, but yeah, Anakin was like a surprise.
Right.
Hey, what's up?
You know, we've come so long. Like it sounded like it seemed like complete fictional. The idea just totally out of this world. That I think the first I ever heard of it really was like the movie Gladiator, where they superimposed the guy that died's face like at the end of the movie or whatever. And look how far we've come now. Like at one point, it would have been ridiculous to think we'd be able to basically resurrect dead people. Another example being with Marlon Brando in the Superman Returns movie, and
Yep.
and I guess they did it again with. I think they might have done it a couple of times with Arnold now with Terminator movies, but and then
They've done it.
so many examples. What's his face in Tron Legacy?
Jeff Bridges.
Jeff Bridges, yeah.
That was like their. I feel like that was one of the first go arounds that they really tried to make it look
look
better.
They did a pretty decent job there, and it's only gotten better. Although, like some of the Disney Plus shows, like they're making progress with that too. Like the first Luke showing was it was all right, and like I think this is more along those lines. I think this reminds me of that what they're doing with Anakin here, but
Yeah, for sure.
I think maybe they figured they could usually it's the case if you're in a dark environment, you can get away with more, like Jurassic Park and the dinosaurs at night and that kind of stuff. But anywho, I could go on for a while about that. Clearly, yeah, that was this episode though. Yeah, I suppose I guess I have to try to come up with something now. Let's see what I can do. 4-3.
I'm going higher this time. 4-6.
Yeah, I could tell you were, which actually gives us gives us a little higher score this time.
Yeah.
4.45 rather than 4.35. Still very consistent. Yeah, so like my thing, I went a little lower this time because like I didn't think, yeah, there were some significant things that happened, but it wasn't. I just didn't feel like it was as significant as the previous few episodes. Yeah.
I like the lightsaber battles, and then of course the World Between Worlds really put me over the edge on this, or World Between Worlds.
It was cool, and then I think it was mostly that they like stayed relatively on the same planet the whole time. Maybe that had something to do with it for me, but I'm justifying like 0.2 of a point difference from what I had last time, I think. But anywho, or you could say 1/5, I suppose. That'll do it though for tonight's episode. Thanks so much for listening. Thanks, AP does for hanging out with us as well.
Yeah.
Thank you, Mike.
It.
Again.
Thank you, Shane.
As always, Danke Shane.
Danke Shane. Danke Shane.
If you'd like to reach us, you can do so at disnerdsplus@gmail.com. Disnerdsplus.com is the website. Still recording Thursdays at 8:30 p.m. Central at twitch.tv/ShaveMadOx. You can find Mike at Cool as a Cucumber. You can find me at ShaveMadOx. And until next time, may the Force be with you. Hooray!
Meow.
Meow!
Did it. Yeah.
All right, get some sleep.
Yeah, I'm going to. I need to catch up. Oh, yeah, I told you I'm probably not going to go out tomorrow, right? Or do anything?
Yeah, he did. Yep.
Okay. Just want to let you know.
Oh, good.
Make sure you're good. Anywho, yes, I'm going to go to bed now.
All right. Have a great night.
Adios.
Thanks, everyone, for watching. Once again, catch you on the flip side.